Well, I'm here at Walsh Park. This is the park I grew up by. It's my favorite park in the whole world. Of course, I haven't been around the world yet, but this is the park where I grew up near, and went to South High School. I let's see, I learned how to swim here at the recreation center, and swam with my cousins and all my friends. This is a great park. It's a really fun park. If you look at it, this is a basically pretty good sized park. I believe it's 5 miles around. I used to run here when I was into running. I loved it. I used to run around the park a couple of times and go down Louisiana Street. So this is the cross streets in Denver for this park's. It is on the south side is Louisiana Street, and on the west side it is Downing, and north side Virginia, and the east side mostly Gilpin Street. So I love this park. I love this place. I wanted to come out here and basically give you a kind of a slice of where I grew up. And this is where I played Little League football. Let's see. I didn't play too many sports, but I loved playing football. I wasn't first string or anything, but I had a good time. It was a lot of running, a lot of playing. I was a little guy, and I do have a picture of that. But I guess I wanted to share with you a story while I'm out here about how things can change so quickly, okay? I went through a time in my life where I worked at the dog track. There was a dog track here in Colorado, in Commerce City, which is north of Denver, northeast of Denver. And I went out there one day. Somebody took me out there. I hadn't been there ever, and a friend of the family's older man took me to the dog track. Okay, I went out to the dog track, and I believe another uncle of mine went. I met a friend there, or I met a guy that was punching tickets for dog races and horse races, and I was 27, 26, 27. I meet this guy that's 20 years old. He tells me, I told him, must be a cool job. I thought it'd be cool. He said, yeah, I was in between jobs. I was looking for a job. And he said, yeah, we're hiring. So I told him, it'd be great. He goes, I can, possibly, speak for you, or maybe we could talk about you working here. So I give him my number. We start becoming friends over the phone. I get a job at the dog track, okay? Mostly I worked in like a second level. Wasn't the clubhouse, but it was, I worked up there too. But it was okay, and it was fun because there was a lot of young people my age, even younger, that worked there. So one of the best things about working there is that you get to, in between races and stuff like that, you meet very interesting people. Not the best people, I would say, but not the worst people. Some people are addicted to gambling. Some people are just there with their family. This was not in the heyday of dog and horse racing, but there was a good audience. So I start working there, and I become friends with this guy. I'm working there probably 2 months, and I start betting numbers. Like you don't have time to look at a dog or horse program when you work there in between races. You do if you want to, but you'd have to buy a program and look at it. So I just play numbers. Like my favorite numbers I always played was 218. Okay, because that's part of my Social Security number, I guess I should say. But 218, and then my address. Okay, so I play those, and that was in a trifecta. So the 2 would win, the 1 would come second, and the 8. I played those all the time. I started doing that. So he and the other guy, we'll say his name starts with the A, okay? And it does. But anyway, we become friends, and we talk about a bunch of stuff, and he likes, hanging out. We went even to the mountains, and we went hiking and hung out there. One of the times that we went out there, we were talking. I don't even have any idea what I said, but he became offended, I guess. We're hanging out. We're talking about different things or people or whatever. But I guess I got the idea that he was I don't know, could be very volatile. I didn't think about it too much, but what happened was I said something, and we were there for about 2 hours, and then he abruptly goes, let's go. We leave there, and he doesn't talk to me all the way home. I'm thinking, what in the world happened? But I blew it off. About 3 weeks later, I finally hit that race that was a 218, and it was, for that time, a lot of money. It was pretty good. I got half of $428, I believe. So like $200, and I was so happy. And I had asked him to go half on these races, and he was like, no. So we leave, and sometimes you have a split shift there, where you work daytime, and then you work the evening card, so the dogs ran in the morning and the night on certain days, okay? This certain day, we both were off that night, but we worked together in the daytime. I had started becoming friends with other people there, and there was a guy that I, was cool, hung out with a little bit. We worked next to each other because we weren't always by each other. We were at windows where people would come up, make their bets on the horses or dogs. And so this guy, he starts telling me, I don't want you talking to this person, or I don't want you, leave that person alone, or don't say anything about that person, or whatever. So I had to be very careful because his neighbor was a big shot there, and she was a big shot, and her name, we'll say it starts with a K, okay? Then, they were really close. He told me that several times. So I hang out with him, and I told him about the other guy, when I can't remember the guy's, I think his name was Taylor. And so we leave, and we're going to McDonald's. I started telling him, look, I'm rich, and I take out the money out of my pocket, and I flash it for him, and I'm like, look, listen to this. We start talking about something, chatting about something, and we get to McDonald's. We're going to go through the drive-thru, and I'm sitting there next to him, putting the money back in my pocket, and all of a sudden, for no reason at all, he starts tussling with me, not taking the money, just like grabbing me and pushing on my head, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and he had this Bronco that was kind of high off the ground, so I didn't think, I thought, what are you doing? I had no idea. It wouldn't even occur to me. All of a sudden, he starts choking me, and he starts telling me, you're not getting away with this, you're not, and I'm like, what in the world? The guy snapped. He starts punching me and hitting me, and the girl at the McDonald's drive-thru is like screaming. So I get out of his car, finally get out somehow, get my keys, and this is when you had to use the door, the key to get into the door. There was no fobs. I run to my car. As I get to my car, I start opening the door, and here he comes behind me, and he parks his car right against my car, and I'm at a parking spot. So, in other words, he followed me there, and when we got there, I got in his car, and they drove around, and we talked, and that's when we got into the argument. I started joking about having money. It was just weird to relive it right now. Anyway, he grabs me, and as he grabbed me, I'll drop my keys, and he starts wrestling with me and pulls me to the grass. When he gets me to the grass, he holds me in a headlock and starts punching me in my face, probably about 5 or 10 times. He wasn't that much bigger than me. I'm 5'5", and he's 5'10", but he was big enough that I was having trouble. And he hit me a bunch of times and hit my mouth so hard that my tooth went into my lip, like a couple of them. They became like, he hit me so many times on this side, and it was like, I couldn't, first of all, I was in shock, but the worst part is I flipped around, and as he got me, he landed on top of me and started choking me. And then he turned me around and started trying to, from behind, choking me, because I wrestled when I was in junior high, and even I didn't wrestle in high school, but I I was able to like wrestle my way around, and he got me from behind and kept choking me. I started getting really scared and thinking, what am I going to do if I pass out? I kept telling him, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. Anyway, I finally, they have these little pens, they had these little pencils what people used at the track, and I had one little pencil in my pocket, half a pencil, and I grabbed it and was able to get it somewhere on his face, and he let me go. When he let me go, I was able to elbow him in the stomach, and I mean, this went on for a good 10, 15 minutes. Nobody called the cops, I guess. I don't understand how that didn't happen, but basically, you know, we had parked there, we got in his car. I don't know if he planned it, possibly he did, I don't know. But so here I was, I finally got away from him. I could barely see, because when somebody chokes you, the blood vessels in your eyes kind of burst, and then your lips, it's a big, when you get cut on your lip, and you know, my nose is bleeding, but your lips bleed excessively. So here I was, right here, for a long time, there was a cut there because it kind of ripped my lip open on my teeth. So I was bleeding excessively, and just on the other side, less than probably 100 yards or 200 yards, there was a Commerce City Police Department. Okay, so I thought I could get there, but I was really weak, and you know, I guess the one thing is when he was choking me, I was able to get my hand underneath here, kind of so that he wouldn't, but he did choke me enough that my eyes were blurry. I got him off me, I elbowed him somehow, and I think I poked him with that pencil hard enough, I don't know. I got up, ran to my car, grabbed my keys, got in my car and sat there. As I sat there, he comes up to the window and he's like, okay, I'm sorry, please, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, please don't go home like that, don't let them see you, don't let Sophie see you, which is my adopted mom. You can't, don't do this, it's okay, I'm sorry, open the door. So here I am, scared to death, and I told him no. I just shook my head no. I couldn't drive, you know, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. So he's like, I don't want to bust your window, but he's parked behind me. I couldn't back up. I couldn't go forward because I couldn't really see. And he's like, please, you can't go home like that. You can't go anywhere like that. You're in bad shape. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do? Here I go. I look to the left, and I'm facing the police department. I see a cop by a cop car, and he goes back to his car, and I guess I didn't know what he was going to do in his car, but I saw him backing out. So I got out of my car and screamed at the cop, and he looked up, and I start running towards him, and he gets out of his car, kind of follows me a little bit. I look back, and the cop starts looking at me, and I'm full of blood. You know, on top of it, I was wearing white. So I was full of blood. It's funny because even at that time, I was like, do I have my money? I did. Money was important to me, I guess. I was traumatized, but the cop finally gets me in the police station. They start cleaning me up, and I just looked terrible. Now, I'm going to tell you, there was no other cut than right here on my lip, and my nose was bleeding, and parts of my mouth were bleeding. The worst part was the sheer shock of being attacked. And I guess, you know, I went to the hospital, and I had somebody pick me up at the hospital. They cleaned me up. Of course, they went to his house, and they got him, and they arrested him. I didn't know what to do. I wouldn't take his call. I didn't know what to do. Well, you know, this was a terrible thing, mostly because now, forever, I think, I'll be careful of anybody that, and I've gotten over it quite a bit, but it shocked me how somebody could go from just talking to you, and I think he did set it up. He did, because there was no reason to park my car. I guess there kind of was, but I parked my car, got into his car, and then we went through the drive-thru, and that's where it happened. But he snapped right at the drive-thru, and then there was a girl there. She didn't call the cops, or I don't know if she did, but anyway, of course, I try to be resilient, about the whole thing and not let it bother me. I talked to my adopted mom about it, and she's like, I said, here he was going to go to school to become a doctor, and he said he's gotten straight A's and all this stuff, and now he's not going to be able to do that. She said, well, are you doing better? And I was doing better. Looking back, I should have sued him. But in any case, it ended up, I did talk to them about it, and then I was like, look, I don't know what to do, I hate to ruin his life. And they're like, well, let's put it this way. It's not just you that he did this to you. I don't know how it was adjudicated, because this is what happened. The worst part is this. I go into work 4 days later, and his neighbor, she's there. And this guy named Steve Rose, who was a big wig at, the Greyhound Park here in Colorado, and it was called Mile High. They fire me over this, and I told him, this is such an injustice. I didn't do anything to this guy. This guy, yeah, but the thing is this, and I'll say her name. She's like his neighbor. I mean, really close neighbor. I had known this guy just a little while out of my life. I went to his brother's house. His brother was out of town at that time. We went there and hung out. He and I tried to work next to each other. I thought he was such a cool guy, but and he was really quiet. And how they say still waters run deep. This was a complete. I don't know what would he have done if he killed me, and I didn't want to go through it. I was scared to death. I had no support really, and so I finally just went ahead and said, look, I'm not gonna, I just want you to know what happened. He lost, and when they gave me the victim's letter, I tried to make it easier on him, because I thought, here we go. He eventually will apologize to me, and maybe we'll become friends again, although I was scared to death of him. But I thought there was a reason for it. Now, I know that, I shouldn't have been flashing the money. I shouldn't have been bragging about things. But there was no reason for him to try to kill me. And it was really weird, because when he was doing it, he was saying things like, you're going to die out here. And then he was like, in a second, he just kind of got out of it when I got in my car, and he was like, please open the door. Please, I promise you, let me clean you up. Let me make sure you're okay. It's going to be all right. You're going to be okay. And I was shocked. My eyes were blood red for like 3 days, maybe longer. And it's been a long time. Anyway, I don't know what happened. I always hate to look, because I hate that they maybe let him go with nothing. Where is he at? I don't know. At one point, I know he moved to like Modesto or somewhere in California. Another thing is how about this? The next year, or a year later, I went to go get a job at a Arapahoe horse track here in Colorado. I go there, and this guy, he's probably like 22 then, or whatever. He's lost all the hair in the front of his head. It's really weird, because maybe that was how God, paid him back. I don't know. But I get the job. I go to work. I see him there. I get fired that afternoon. So it's a double whammy. It was a long drive out there, because, the horse track is pretty far away. So I was glad to not keep that job, but it was a double whammy, even though I kind of went easy on him with the prosecutor and with the victim's statement. But, at least he knows in his heart that, or at least something happened. Hopefully, something, good came out of it with himself, that he was snapped that way. I know that his parents and them found out, and other friends and people that worked at that track found out about that happening. So it ruined his reputation. I believe he knows that, and it's just a terrible thing. As far as the track closed down, and I guess I learned better. I'm glad I could take care of myself and got away from him, because I believe that he would have killed me, and then probably thought, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. And who knows? But, you know, every time I hear that name, because his name is very common. I'll just say his first name was, but it started with an A. And, I guess it took me several years to get over it. I had dreams about it, and I probably should have went through with the prosecution, but, I just didn't. But anyway, that's my story for today. It's a true story. Promise you, honest, I would never lie. I'm not going to lie to you, my followers or people that watch my videos, and I hope it wasn't too long. It's a true story. Tell me what you think. Have a good day. I appreciate you coming with me to Washington Park in Denver, Colorado. Have a good day. Bye.